First, let me bring in the frustrated rock stars. Jeff and Justin there?
Yeah.
Nice. How you doing, guys? Long time no speak.
We're making a comeback.
I know. I've missed you guys. So.
Been on you in a while, but neither is your wife. So.
How dare you?
Paul's sending him jokes.
How dare I will crush this segment with one button push. All right. Let's go to the frustrated rock stars. Now we're talking about best comebacks.
Yeah.
Now,
other than what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Right, you guys are making a comeback here. Anvil was someone that Mike brought up.
I have one.
And now, Bob, you have one. Go ahead.
Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash is your pick for comeback.
Yeah, because now he's playing like fucking. He was like.
Well, he's not doing too much now. He's dead.
Yeah. You know he's dead, right?
But he did come back. Rick Rubin kind of gave him some new life and a couple of Grammy Awards towards the end of his career.
That he's dead?
Right.
Yeah, Bob.
All right, I'm going to change my...
Was one of the fraud charges on your card tickets to Johnny Cash next week?
You know who's having a great comeback? Beethoven.
No, I'm going to go with Duran.
Jimi Hendrix.
Duran's doing good.
Duran.
Yeah.
Duran does good touring, but their records will never sell again.
I wrote Duran.
All right, how about ELO?
Spell it.
E-L.
Do you understand? Do you understand what we mean by comeback?
Yeah, and like Def Leppard.
Well, Def Leppard never really came back. They had a lot of personal issues. You know, the guy lost the arm.
Well, they had some flops with Slang.
They did have some flops, and and it was the guy lost an arm. I mean, come on, it's a comeback.
Well, but there wasn't that long of a time, 1983 to 1987. I mean, comeback to me is like you're gone for years, nothing worked, and then you have a huge transformation.
I think it's when you come back with one arm. That's a comeback.
That is true.
Aerosmith came back like herpes. I mean, they were dead and gone, and they've managed to string together another decade and a half of, extreme relevance.
Yeah, well, if I can quote, I think it was Brad Whitford that said, to have it again and have it bigger than it was the first time. I mean, Aerosmith is the quintessential comeback rock story of all of them.
What about Van Halen?
Never really gone. I don't consider this
I'm not
a comeback.
playing that.
Bob left.
He can't figure out comeback.
What's a comeback?
Well, Van Halen's close because that Gary Sharon album stunk, and that was a decade ago, and they haven't had a successful tour in at least that long. But yeah, you guys are right. They're a gray area.
Rick Springfield.
No, he's tried some comebacks, but it never really works.
He's selling out the Bagada.
He's a time period artist. No one's ever going to see him as anything but an 80s star.
Right.
Santana had a great comeback with Supernatural.
Yeah.
Santana with Rob Thomas.
Rob Thomas and all that. I mean, that thing sold like 15 million copies.
Yeah. I bet you half the people who bought that album didn't even know who Santana was before then.
Right. What about the Eagles?
That's a good one. Hell Freezes Over.
I was going to write that one for Bob, and then I kept it myself. Yeah, Tony in Alaska, what's up?
One band I was thinking of was about 4 years ago, the Kings of Leon put out their first, or whatever the fuck, they put out their first album, and now they came back totally different and changed.
Doesn't count. You can't come back from being new in the 2000s.
Yes, I agree.
Stop, music snobs.
Doing a tour is not a comeback. There has to be an album that has like some significant relevance.
Justin in Bayside, what'd you want to say?
In monetary terms and worldwide success, I think you have to say the Bee Gees, truthfully.
The Bee
He said
Gees.
truthfully, I got to
They
go.
had a great career, but they never really came back. They've had some songs since the heydays. They did more actually writing and producing for, Dionne Warwick and Barbra Streisand after the disco phase.
How about Mark Burns?
They got lucky with the whole genre of disco making a comeback.
Well, that was their comeback. Right, that was their comeback.
Because they're like the poster child for disco music, so they kind of get credit for the whole disco comeback.
Yeah, but they were big in the 60s, though, late 60s,
Yeah,
right?
they made a comeback doing disco. That was their comeback back in 78, 79.
Agreed.
Raven, what do you want to say?
This is big, I think. Black Sabbath, now they're called Heaven and Hell, but Ronnie James Dio is on the mic.
Just doing a tour, like Justin said, just doing a tour doesn't really count. You got to have
An album.
a record that's relevant and the whole thing.
Well, but they have
Raven, understand the question.
No, that is a comeback.
But at this point, no one's selling a record, so it's like
It
you're
is
right.
a comeback for the Ronnie James Dio lineup because they haven't done that lineup in a long time.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. And they came out with the new record.
Oh, getting a comeback is hitting me in the back of the head.
But now not having a big album is kind of anyone who puts one out anymore. So we might have to readjust
Well,
the
what
qualifications.
about Green Day? I mean, they came back with American Idiot.
Yeah.
And we came back with Paul.
They're back to selling 8 and 10 million copies as opposed to 2 and 3, but they never really went away.
No, they didn't.
But they really were able to kind of get their music to a new generation, get accepted by a new generation in order to sell 10 million records, and that started back with American Idiot.
Right.
Just like David Bowie. David Bowie came back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. China Girl and whatever the other one is.
Modern Love.
Modern Love. And Stevie Ray Vaughan playing guitar on those.
Listen to me. I got one right now. I just thought of one. Eminem.
Eminem come back?
Oh, yeah, that's actually a really good one. He spent about 4 years just eating Taco Bell and Percocets. He actually lives in the mansion that
Not that there's anything
CEO
wrong
of
with it.
Kmart lived in Detroit. And the last 4 years, he's just been in seclusion doing drugs and kicking them. So, yeah, that's a good one, actually.
See?
Hey, now that's something I would take time off of work for. I'll catch up with you guys in about 6 months. I got to do a shitload of drugs.
I'm going to put it in my taco.
Yeah, Raven, yes.
I have an almost comeback in a way. Chappelle was pushing Rick James. Remember Rick James, bitch? Well, Rick James was going to come out with a new album, and then he up and died.
Yeah.
He died.
Yeah.
I think
First he came out with some kidnapping charges.
Yeah.
And,
Well, that would have promoted the album.
He had overcome all of the crime and the criminal and the jail and stuff.
He would have been following suit
I
of
seen,
today's biggest stars.
Billy
actually.
Mays was doing an infomercial on him, I'm pretty sure.
That's another comeback that we've had is thanks to Mamma Mia, ABBA, even though they're not back together, there's no new record, they've had a huge surge in sales.
Yeah, that's like the Bee Gees. Like they had to come back indirectly. Another giant of the '70s coming back is Fleetwood Mac in '97 with The Dance when they got back together. That was a big comeback tour and album.
Pos in Toledo? What's your comeback band, buddy?
Motley Crue.
Yeah?
Came back.
Absolutely. Their new album's terrific. It's awesome if you guys haven't heard
And
it.
now they're doing the Crew Fest, so they're kind of creating a whole brand, if you will.
And I heard that they bought their publishing. Like, they bought all their publishing to their music. Is that true?
They do. That's why they re-released all their albums. There's what they call Critical Crew. It's their entire catalog with 3 or 4 extra songs on each one.
Yeah. So if you're one of the suckers like us who bought the CDs and whatever in the 80s and 90s, now you got to buy them again just to get the 3 new songs.
Right. Yes, Mark.
Well,
quickly.
Motley Crue were one of the few bands that actually benefited from their career falling apart. They signed a huge record deal with Elektra Records.
Like right at the end.
And then the whole thing collapsed on them, and Elektra wanted to get out of that deal.
Right.
So gave them their publishing, and they weren't tied to
Wow.
giving Motley Crue $5 million an album for 4 more records or whatever it was.
That's,
Wow.
that's what we're hoping for here.
They were on top in like 90, 91, right before Nirvana hit. So they got to get everything they wanted, and then the whole thing crashed with
Yeah,
Nirvana.
perfect for them.
Listen, guys, I want to thank you for doing this again, and we'll when we do it again, we'll get to you a little earlier so we got more time because the phones light up when you guys come on, and we love having you on. Go to frustratedrockstars.com. Send an email. Let Jeff and Justin know how much you love them here on Miserable Men. And thanks again, guys.
All right. Thanks, Julie, Bob.
Take care, guys.
See you guys later.
All right, later, brother.